No matter when or where or how you're watching us, we're glad you're here with us. This morning, all the music, we're going to sing the hymn in the middle of the service, but one of my favorite tunes out of the gray hymnal is a thing called Coolidge. Why it's called Coolidge, I have not been able to find out. I've tried, I'm looking, it's not in any of the resources. Everyone just says it's a lovely tune, but nobody knows why the tune is called Coolidge. We'll sing it a little bit later this morning to the text of From All the Fret and Fever of the Day. But I have everything from a lovely little prelude on it, and then at the end of the service I've got the bossa nova for you.
Good morning, and welcome, Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist friends. It's good to see you all. We're now well into our new church year. Pardon my scratchy voice this morning. It comes and goes. I'll try not to clear my throat too much. And this past month, we thought about the different versions of migration. Some of us shared our migration stories, and we considered some ways that we could migrate into the future that we want to build. This month, we continue to talk about how our important shared values play out in the world around us and apply those thoughts to the idea of labor and its many facets. Specifically today, we will consider how to put aside our grief and difficulty with today's world, grieve some of our losses, and allow ourselves to rest, and how that rest alleviates our exhaustion, allowing us to labor fruitfully and in the directions we choose. I am Maria Menconi, the pastoral associate assisting Reverend Matthew today. We have a lot to be thankful for here at Mountain Vista as we come together each week and move forward. We give thanks for this place that is the original home and unceded land of the Yaqui and Thana-Otham people. We respect and honor their commitment to the place we also call home. We give thanks for all of our neighbors and our surrounding community and invite them to join us. We give thanks for our minister, Reverend Matthew Funk-Crary, and hope that his leg heals well, and the staff here at MVUU, including Chris, our rock star music director, Stacy, our religious exploration coordinator, and Stephanie, our administrator. We also want to welcome and express our gratitude to our guests who are here today from the National Youth Advocate Program. Over there in the back, wave for us. Hello. In addition, we thank the many volunteers that contribute each week. Our AV crew, which today includes Lee, Ann, Chuck at the camera, and Alex, Joel Yelland, our song leader, Tom Bunch with Joys and Sorrows, and our volunteers for greeting and hospitality, as well as volunteers in RE with the children. Everyone who contributes their work and care to our congregation makes today's service possible. It truly takes a village. As we often say here, we are better and stronger together. So as always, I am grateful to be here with you and share this Sunday morning with you. Our services are not just attended, as Chris mentioned, by those of you here in person, but also virtually. Some will be watching this in real time. Some others will watch later. So if we can get the camera moving, let's get ready, and we can wave at our colleagues currently attending virtually. So once again, good morning and welcome. For our chalice reading this morning, I'll be reading It Is Exhausting. The divisiveness in our world, our inability to talk to one another, or more importantly, to hear one another. As we see the injuries accumulate, it is exhausting. Then, when the exhaustion drains us, when we see too little justice, too little kindness, too little fairness, it's time to step back, to think about our vision of the future, to rest, to stay out of the sunlight and calm ourselves in the cool darkness. It's time to find our community and our sanctuary. May it be so.
Good morning. It is really wonderful to see you all here. We say that, and you think, oh, always say that, but the truth of the matter is we don't know who's coming, and some of you didn't even know you were coming this morning, and so it is lovely to look out and just to see so many of you here today. I want to add to the thanks that Maria has offered to my son, Robin, who, as you see, is moving my chair around. Yeah. He's often in the AV booth helping out there, but when I injured my leg a couple of weeks ago, he took it upon himself to be my body person. And so he has been taking care of me these last couple of weeks. Thank you. Each month, we give thanks for an organization weaving our shared values out in our broader community. We take time to learn about their mission, their goals, and we make an offering each week to support their work in our woven basket. Now, this month, our offering of thanks is for Interfaith Community Services. From their website, the mission of ICS is to provide pathways leading to more stable and self-sufficient lives. ICS was founded on the premise that together we can all do more. And we're just one of the nearly 150 congregations, temples, synagogues, churches, mosques, and faith-based community centers here in our area that are doing more together because of ICS. And during a time of divisiveness, when people of different faiths may not be even able to have civil discourse, ICS then is a gift. It's a blessing, bringing us together for love, cooperation, and service to our broader community. Their commitment and spectrum of services to seniors, disabled individuals, and people in financial crisis, and it couldn't be accomplished without our interfaith support, partners in the community, businesses, and generous gifts. It currently serves more than 60,000 people a year. From nutritious meals to job counseling, it helps an out-of-work breadwinner regain sustainable employment. It offers rides to doctors' offices, assistance with the mail, bills, and small home repairs for clients who can no longer see or achieve more mobility. ICS, it meets essential needs in practical ways. And we're grateful to be a partner. If you're in a position then to support ICS with a financial gift, after the service concludes, outside of those doors, you'll find the woven basket. And if you can support the work of our congregation, next to the woven basket is the wooden bowl. And there we collect your gifts of support for our people, this place, and all of our programs. Whatever it is that you can offer, we gratefully receive.
I don't know if you've noticed of late, we've been trying something a little new in that we're repeating some things. I mean, it's okay, we do repeat some things quite often, but now we've been doing things much more, not a lot, but necessarily, but occasionally we try to give you a second listen, a second chance to sing something. Last week, we opened the service with hymn number 109, As We Come Marching, Marching. And we're going to sing it again this morning in the spirit of, you can never step into a moving river. You can never step into the same river twice. The changes in your life, the changes in what's happened make us different people. And even if we hear the same thing, it hits us differently. Beautiful poem out of the turn of the last century. The idea, women's suffrage and the women's labor union movement, as well as the universal labor union movement. Not only do we need the sustenance of life, the wonderful things that pay our rent and buy our food, but we also need the beautiful things of life, art, music, literature, the roses of life, if you will, which is why this poem is also known as Bread and Roses. Set to music a little bit later. Would you rise and join us in hymn number 109, which will also be on the screen. Y'all don't need hymnals unless you want hymnals, and if you do, they're always on the shelf outside the door, and there's a beautiful sign that tells you which ones we need today. Number 109, As We Come Marching, Marching.
Yeah, roses or not, this is a march, so make the walls shake.
Move it.
As we come marching, marching in the beauty of the day, a million darkened kitchens, 1,000 workshops gray, are touched with all the radiance that a sudden sun exposes. For the people hear us singing, bread and roses, bread and roses. As we come marching, marching, we battle too for men, for they are women's children, and we mother them again. Our lives shall not be sweated from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses. As we come marching, marching, remembered women dead, oh, crying through our singing their ancient song of bread. Small number Is it his bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we come marching, marching, we bring the greater days. The rising of the women means the rising of the race. No more the trudge and idler can the toil where one reposes, but a sharing of life's glories, bread and roses, bread and roses.
I invite you now to a time of contemplation, of considering and pondering. When is it that we go resting? I'm terrible at resting. I wouldn't have thought that until I was told on the cusp of Labor Day weekend that I had broken my right fibula. The urgent care staff said I would have to stay off it, sit down and elevate it for the long weekend until I could go and see an orthopedic doc. Just rest, they said, which didn't sound too bad. Made it sound like it was part of the long Labor Day celebration. I mean, isn't that what Labor Day is for? Isn't one of the goals of the American labor movement in making time for us to stop and rest and smell the roses? Of course, through that long Labor Day weekend, I was miserable. And I think I made my family miserable too. I'm sorry about that. I knew that resting was the most important thing, that healing would come if I allowed it. I also knew that I could really screw that healing up unless I didn't rest. And yet, still, I felt a constant agitation that I wasn't doing anything. I'd put my leg up and just start to settle in, start to relax, and a little voice would whisper, "The world doesn't stop because you busted your leg." It's kind of surprising how unkind that little voice can be at times, right? And I see some of you nodding as if you might have heard it before as well. That little voice that counters your need to rest, to heal. Well, I don't know about you, but it's a voice I've learned from living in our grind culture, or what is better known as the Protestant work ethic. Oh my. I did not expect that reaction. I don't know if you all saw each other, but you recognized it. It's our cultural perspective, tying your worth, your personal value, to what you contribute, and it's false. It's a fallacy. Sociologist Max Weber proposed that since the earliest days of American colonial life, Scripture, like the 2 Thessalonians 3:10, that says that if any would not work, neither should they eat. That inspired an ethic that became a deep root of our entire American history. Now, originally, this theology was employed as an act of survival because that community had no skills for living in what would become known as the Mass Bay Colony. I mean, we're talking the earliest years of these colonists. But the idea didn't go away. It would grow within our American identity into a mythology that there is a nobility to ongoing and hard labor. And this, despite our history of many Americans' work having been devalued. Women, people of color, the poor, often the very hardest working Americans, have never had equal opportunities. They've had to struggle the hardest simply for the bread that is life-giving and the roses that make life worth living. We've never quite lived into the aspiration that we're all created equal, endowed by a creator with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Never quite lived into it. Our Unitarian Universalism is very much a part of American history. We are part of that early Protestant ethic. We grew out of those Puritans. But we also began to change and eventually asserted that an individual's worth was not based on what they could do, but just on who you are. We hold that each and every person is inherently worthy and dignified. And through history, we have sought and sometimes failed, but we are always learning to discover how we, as a faith tradition, can live into our unalienable rights, like the right to rest. Reverend Tricia Hearsey, the bishop of the Knapp ministry, speaks of a theology emerging this way. You are worthy of rest. We don't have to earn it. Rest is not a luxury or a privilege or a bonus we must wait for once we are all burned out. She continues, I hear so many repeat the myth of rest being a privilege. I understand the concept and still I deeply disagree with it. Rest is not a privilege because our bodies are still our own, no matter what the current systems teach us. The more we think of rest as a luxury, the more we buy into the systemic lies of grind culture. Our bodies and spirits, they don't belong to capitalism, no matter how much it is theorized and presented. She concludes, I trust the Creator and my ancestors to always make space for my gifts and talents without needing to work myself into exhaustion. Think of that. You are worthy of rest. And it's not because you've earned it, not because of somebody giving it to you. It's because your beautiful body is yours. No one's offering permission because God or the universe or whatever you call her, for over 13 billion years and out of the very stuff of the stars, has crafted you to rest. Now, this doesn't stop that little voice saying you're not worthy, because it's going to take a lifetime to silence that. But you can, and we can rest because we are human beings, not human doings. And right along with bread and roses, we deserve rest. And so may we come resting now, together, and in all of our days to come.
So let's get comfortable for a moment. We're going to spend a little time in meditation, different sort of little meditation, but I think you'll enjoy it. Take a few deep breaths. Close your eyes if you're so inclined. And together, let's ponder when and how do we rest? Many of us believe we do not have time to rest, and yet we know it is essential. It's important to take a time out, and we have to keep our eyes open and be on the lookout for those times when we can take that time out. We must little by little learn to do nothing well. let's picture a small way to rest. Picture yourself in the middle of a discussion that maybe is not going quite the way you were hoping. Why not simply excuse yourself momentarily, stroll into the next room, wander around outside? Can you see yourself doing this? It's merely a question of going somewhere else, just for a moment. A good bet is always the bathroom. No one will deny you, and no one will suspect a thing, and you will be resting. Imagine how to do this with me a minute. Excuse me, Maria, I'll be right back. You nod at me and you head out. When you get there, you lock the door. Don't forget that part. Stand in front of the mirror and look at yourself very kindly and breathe. Finally, you give yourself a big smile and you remind yourself to keep your goals in mind and everything will be just fine. Just fine. One more big breath and you're out the door. Just think about this now. The other person involved or persons in your discussion was resting too. Try to see this. You have both been resting, if only for a moment. The essence of this rest, wherever it is to get time alone exactly when and where you need it. Think about needing this anytime so that you can remember the meaning of the moment you're in and be fully present for its importance. And you get all of this because you found a moment for a brief rest. And surprise, you are resting now. Right here in the sanctuary together. Take a few deep breaths and let's rejoin each other for the rest of the service.
Always makes me think of the classic old movie palaces who not only had restrooms, toilets, but often in the outer room there was a lounge and you could go and sit and rest. And nobody thought that was weird, and I always felt a little sad that more of those didn't catch on in other public places. Last week we did this. We're going to try something again that we did last week. We're going to sing number 90 in the Gray Hymnal, From All the Fret and Fever of the Day, my favorite Coolidge tune. And we're going to do it the same way we did it last week. Now, I'm told there was some confusion and some confused looks last week when I flowed straight into a little instrumental interlude after. I didn't see it, of course, because when I'm playing, I'm not in a good position to see anybody's faces, but I'm told there were a few confused looks. So this is explaining explicitly what we're going to do. We're going to sing these two beautiful verses of this song. Of course, they're always on the screen, or number 90 in the book. Then we're going to have a moment of our joys and sorrows, and then we're going to sing this lovely but very short hymn again, so we can see how it goes. Because of this, we'll sit, then I'll play a little bit more afterwards to sort of bring it all to a close. Because of this, we're going to sing this hymn from a seated position, but just as I say to the choir, if you're going to sing sitting down, sit nice and tall, and sing with all the same support and everything that you would. You could just come to choir on Wednesday nights. We had a whole lot of people come the last couple of weeks. It was very nice. If you're worried about your voice sticking out, we have enough people that won't be a problem. It's beautiful. Number 90, From All the Fret and Fever of the Day.
purpose, let us then bring richer meaning to the world again.
Our ceremony of joy and sorrow is for resting. Here, now, in this place, at this hour, bring your joys and your sorrows and give them to our community of faith so that we might embrace and hold them and you might rest.
Bring your joys, all that lifts your hearts, all that you cannot stop smiling about, your big anniversaries and milestones, and those simple beauties in life, like the clouds in the Sonoran sky, catching you completely, joyfully unaware.
Bring your sorrow too. There is so much sorrow now. It is exhausting. Bring it with you, and then lay it to rest, if just for a while, here among us.
We welcome all that makes you whole, and in sharing our wholeness, in celebration and comfort, we become whole. We begin the process of healing. We gather water from the Sonoran skies, from the taps in our homes, from the springs in the ground, to pour out. This is our gathering. We gather stones as containers for joy and sorrow. They have the strength of the earth, the wisdom of the earth. They are our Mother Earth. When given permission, we name the joys and sorrows among us. We know that there are joys yet unnamed. And sorrows which are not yet ready to be given voice. This is our wholeness. This is our healing.
Leading us in celebration and comfort is our pastoral care team. We know that you are coming with great joys and with deep sorrows. And each of us is here to listen, and if you wish, share your joy or sorrow during our service. But we also respond by leading our congregation to celebrate with you or to meet you where you are with our comfort. In this way, in quietness and sharing solitude, we are a community of faith. We rest and we heal.
From all the fret and fever of the day, let there be moments when we turn away, and deaf to all confusing outer din, intently listen for the voice within. In quietness and solitude we find the soundless wisdom of the deeper mind. With clear harmonious purpose, let us then bring richer meaning to the world again.
early last July, Joanna Macy, the elder, systems thinker, author, and activist, at 96 went into hospice. She was a genuine prophet for living through these very times. Over 15 years ago, I had sought her out, joined a week-long retreat in the countryside of Ojai, California, to become her student. And it turns out to become her student requires a lot of dancing and playing and crying and laughing. She was as intensely and fiercely compassionate as her books presented her. And she perceived at the time we were in is a great turning in our human existence. A time of terrible challenges when our destructive and oppressive systems, no longer able to sustain themselves, would start dying. And it would be an angry, mean, sometimes cruel dying. And she knew that being human, that we had the potential to find new ways with love and cooperation and service to be born again. Her empathy was global, and she traveled the globe throughout her life and was friends like individuals like the Dalai Lama and Thich Nhat Hanh, and learned from them her Buddhism. She felt the coming pain and suffering that this transformation in the world was bringing. And with all that she was, she taught how to hospice out what was dying and midwife in another world. During one of those afternoon breaks while we were outside playing catch, I got up the courage to ask, with deep gratitude and respect for all that she had given me, "Could I call you grandmother?" And not saying anything, she just nodded gently, solemnly, and tossed me the ball. And so it was last July, 10 days after grandmother entered hospice, she died. I miss her, and I know many who know her do as well. And as I grieve her loss, I'm guided by her teaching. Always, always begin in gratitude. Lean into gratitude, because no matter what comes afterwards, it's always there. And then the next step is to honor the pain. Because we feel pain because we are human beings alive and aware and awake on this earth because we love. If we honor the pain, it directs us where the hurt is and where the healing is necessary. And through all of this, then we can begin to perceive anew. We can begin to see who we are as individuals and communities, and perhaps, if we're lucky, even as a species, so that we can go forward to do the work of hospicing out and midwifing in. With her teaching, then, I am so grateful to her. Her beautiful, powerful compassion, her vision of where we are and how much it hurts just to be alive right now. And then, how much we need each other to simply recognize our common suffering. And grandmother taught that all of this was a cycle around that she called the work that reconnects. The cycle is active, laying to rest what is destroying us and bringing to life what will propel us on into the future. It's both hospicing destruction and it's midwifing in life. Now, hospice here in the United States has taken on the meaning of just being a place or even a process of comfort to ease the passing of the dying at their end. And grandmother meant that, and she experienced that. But she also meant it in its original global meaning, as a place for travelers to stop on a holy pilgrimage, to lay down their burdens, and to rest. And if that seems strange, then just imagine a clean motel at the end of a long drive, or a KOA campground, or maybe even a faith community that welcomes you for your inherent worth and dignity. Any place, every place that allows you to rest on your journey. And I believe grandmother experienced this kind of hospice as well. In her 96 years, she journeyed through. I mean, she went into the destructive framework of our world, and she moved through it into the life-giving one, into that rhythm of rest and action. Through her relationships and her scholarship and her activism, she witnessed our world as a battlefield. This is the belief that all life can offer us is the fight between us and them. And it's compelling because it offers certainty that there is a good thing and a bad thing, and of course, we're on the good side. It's pervasive because it's rooted in not one political party or religion. It thrives within all of them. And it's seductive because there's a little voice often whispering in our ears, even as it screams across social media, that your life is a battle. It's either you hurt or you be hurt. Be strong or lose. And this is, to borrow from Maria's chalice lighting, what drives the divisiveness in our world. Our inability to talk to one another, and more importantly, to hear one another. And we see the injuries accumulate. We feel the injuries accumulate. And when we pause, when we rest, we can begin to feel the fallacy, the lie, the untruth here. When we step out of the divisiveness, excuse ourselves to go to the bathroom or the restroom, and we look at ourselves in the mirror, we breathe, and we really, really look, there's no battlefield there. There's just you. You, the stuff of stardust, a miracle of 13 billion years in the crafting. You, grown out of our planet and its people to see and to taste and touch and hear and to smell itself. You turning with the seasons, moving with the sun and the moon, the night and the day and the tides, growing alongside the plants and the animals. As grandmother discovered in her life's journey and then taught, you are the world. The world is you. And that's a clarity that comes with hospice. Hospice as the resting place on your journey out of the battlefield, allowing the destructive, divisive to be laid to rest, if only so we do not continue to repeat it into our futures. Now, this isn't a future without struggle. There are too many guns, too many bombs, too much hurt, and so much healing for us yet to do. It's not a future without struggle, but it means that through our work and by our rest, our future will not be birthed on a battlefield, but out of our love for this world, for each other, out of our love for ourselves. Grandmother said, out of this darkness, a new world can arise, not to be constructed by our minds so as much as to emerge from our dreams. Even though we cannot see clearly how it's going to turn out, we are still called to let the future into our imagination, because we will never be able to build what we have not first cherished in our hearts. And so, may we simply be a people learning to rest. To hospice in both meanings, pausing, breathing together on our journey, and finding the gratitude and the pain and the commonality and the action to accompanying all that is dying, so we might birth a new future in love. May it be so, as we are bold enough to dream it, and then to live it. Amen.
The title card to the slide, the title card for this next hymn, says it's number 1024 in the teal hymnal. And yes, technically it is. But in Grand UU tradition, we virtually always change the words. And also in seemingly Grand UU tradition, I've rearranged the music. I know, surprise, surprise. So that's why we didn't put the hymnals out. So I'm going to invite you to rise, and since your hands are free, you're not holding a book, help me out. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Says do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you gotta do. Oh Lord, you gotta do when the Spirit says do. Spirit says do. Spirit says do. Says sing. You gotta sing. Sing, oh Lord, you gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. It says do, Spirit says do, Spirit says do. You gotta sing when the Spirit says laugh. You gotta laugh when the Spirit says laugh. And when the Spirit says laugh, you gotta laugh, oh Lord. You gotta laugh when the Spirit says laugh. You gotta rest when the Spirit says rest. You gotta rest when the Spirit says rest. When the Spirit says rest, you gotta rest, oh Lord. You gotta rest when the Spirit says rest. 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 You gotta do when the Spirit says do. You gotta do when.
Good morning. For those of you that may not know me, I'm Grace Yelland. I'm a regular volunteer in RE, and I happen to be married to the song leader and the person who brings you your coffee and snacks after service. So we are here to introduce some very special people in our lives. I would like them to come up as I call their names. We have Michelle, who is Program Director, Adrian, who is Assistant Program Director, and Griselda, who's our Licensing Coordinator for an organization called NIAP, National Youth Advocate Program. Joel and I have been involved with this program for the last several months, and we are going to have our lovely guests tell you a little bit about the program, and then I'm going to say why Joel and I got involved after that.
Thank you. Well, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I think definitely it's a definitely prime time for us to be here when we call rest. So I would like to introduce our program. It's National Youth Advocate Program, which has been established since 1978. We call ourselves an energetic instrument of compassion, which we help children and families find that refuge and that safe place for rest. I think today was a prime opportunity for us to come and just to share what Joel and Grace have provided to the children that we serve here in the community of Tucson, which we've been so privileged to keep promoting peace and connecting communities and providing that safe haven for children. Currently, our program is in need of transitional foster parents, people who will open their doors, provide that safe refuge, that support, that love and compassion that we are talking about today. As a program director here, I've been serving with them for a little over a year. I have just a few members of my team that will encompass various members of support that provide that refuge for children who come from the border unaccompanied. We service children from all over the world who provide that safe haven. We open those doors and we find families with that loving home and that extra space for the children that we serve. We serve children that come with all sorts of needs, whether it's from definitely the poverty that they've gone through, whether it be some traumas. We provide that safe haven for those children through the loving arms of families such as yourself. Our program has been open since 2019. We've already serviced at least up to 7,000 children who have come to us with open arms, and with families such as Grace and Joel, who provided such a loving home for our children to be reunified back with their families. This definitely is not a small token. This definitely is something that is not endured independently, but you have the extension of our family, which is through the National Youth Advocate Program and all the servants that come with it. What we're asking for today is just either your voice or your door to a loving home, to an opportunity to provide and to reunify the children that we have in our care back to their loved ones. This is definitely something that has been near and dear to my heart and to the hearts of also my staff here today, that we provide these services lovingly and without an endless, there's no comparison to what we provide. And we are just looking for that voice and that opportunity to share the word with you guys, to let you guys know who our program is, to provide that loving support as they finish their journey here and through Tucson. This is definitely a unique program that is across the U.S. We have over 10 facilities that currently do the same work. We provide humanitarian services, long-term, short-term care, and we are definitely keeping the peace here, and we have the opportunity to provide that to every single one of you. We're just sharing an opportunity to give you a flyer, be that person of advocacy for the children and families that we serve here today. Grace and Joel have been an extreme instrument, along with the other transitional families that we've actually have opened their doors in their homes, to provide those services to children so that we can find that peace, that rest, and that love and support that they've been longing for. We definitely would not be able to be here today. Reverend Matthew, with deepest gratitude, I do thank you for giving me your platform here to speak with you today. And we'd like to share more. If it's whether the conversations we have after this session, we'd like to definitely at least provide you an advocate, Miss Grace and Joel, to at least tell you a little bit of why they've chosen this program and what their experiences have been and what they've lived through their children's journeys.
I could spend probably half an hour talking about why this is valuable, but Reverend Matthew cautioned me not to spend that much time talking to you. So I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis, I guess, of why we do this. Well, number one, we are UUs. We have this fundamental belief that everybody has worth and dignity. We've spent our 35-plus year career in medicine working with migrant and immigrant families. We've seen the hardships that families have had to go through being separated, the emotional, psychological, physical, and financial toll this takes. I personally have treated many children as a pediatrician in foster care and recognize that a safe, loving, and supportive home is crucial to survival. In the current political debacle, and yes, I had to Google a synonym for shitstorm, we want to focus on something positive, something that we can do besides protesting and writing letters to our congressman to make a positive difference in someone's life. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that one of the reasons I'm doing this is because of my love of kids. You don't see me in the sanctuary very often because my humans of choice are under 18, so I'm not here very often. But we, like many of you, realize that we were and still are good parents. We have a safe, clean, and nurturing home. We have skills that we learned raising our 2 now adult children, but most of all, we have compassion. And so do all of you. While I'm not expecting many of you to sign up as transitional foster parents, I'm certain that you value the reasons I've just put forth. You can help spread the word amongst your friends and families. Many more foster families are needed to give support to these very vulnerable children. So Joel and I are happy to share the nitty-gritty of our personal experiences with you and our now 2 sets of children after the service. So please approach us if you have any questions. Anybody else want to say anything?
I just want to thank everybody again for providing this space so that we could connect with you and provide more information. Again, we will be available. We'll be hanging out in here and then also over there, anywhere you can find us. Please approach us so that we can answer any questions that you may have. And again, we're very thankful to be here.
Thank you again for having us here. My name is Griselda Altamirano. I am the license coordinator, so I would be the one that visiting your homes and helping prepare for when the state goes and licenses you. But I have fun. I love doing it, so I'm looking forward to meeting, answering any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much.
The unsettling pace of political upheaval we're experiencing, along with the dismemberment, I know that's a strong word, but the dismemberment of our democracy and close to total disregard for the rule of law, has left many of us profoundly sad and grieving. Really, the way I feel now, most days, is almost identical to how I felt when I've lost people very near and dear to me. I am grieving deeply. Some days I can't shake the dark shadows. That's not typical for me. As I was helping with our service this week, I found it helpful to think about our current circumstances in some of the same ways we look at a death. And just as hospice can help with the death of a loved one, we might learn from hospice to build the world we want. Most of us, from the healthcare system down to us as individuals, are very unwilling to look directly at death. It's not our favorite subject. We know it's inevitable. We know it will be painful. But sometimes, long past the time when an individual has turned the corner towards a quiet and desired death, we grasp for more options, hoping to reverse what is truly irreversible. As I think about how I've been feeling and acting over the past 8 months, I realize that the reason so many days feel so painful is because I have not yet entirely let go of all the things I loved about our country and our world less than a year ago, just months ago. I have not fully incorporated the reality that it's time to make a new future and let go of the hopes and dreams for our world that are built from the past. I have to accept that the irreversible is not reversible. I won't be able to say, Madam President, to anyone probably in my lifetime, but except Deb, who gives me that opportunity to do that here. And I'm so glad. I can no longer believe, at least for now, that the people in the United States will be treated equally and fairly. I mourn the world that I thought I was leaving for my daughter. I'm learning from all of this that I have to be capable of holding two truths at once, something I'm not all that good at. To wish things were different while accepting what is. I like to hang out in the I can make things different place. And I have to believe there's a future. Maybe just not the one I thought it was going to be. Most of the time, dying is not sudden or dramatic. It's not a single moment. It's a process that can go for days, weeks, months, as we know, those of us who have lived through them, most of us have. Watching our country lose the values and commitments that we have lived with and cherished and mourning our losses is not very different from watching a death. But the more you witness death, the more you learn to just surrender to time, to place, to outcome. In our current reality, we can relinquish control of what is and surrender to a vision of what should make our new world. We can both hold truth, to wish things were different, and to make a better future by accepting what is. Death should not be seen as an ending. It is a teacher, a mirror, a catalyst. It shapes how we will live, how we will spend our time, and where we will seek meaning. What can we learn from what we see in the mirror as our country changes? What will we do to build love, equality, inclusion, and diversity into our lives, workplaces, and cities? And I thank our guests today for giving us one of those options about what we can do. Using what we can learn from hospice care, alleviating pain, soothing frightened or ruffled spirits, giving those around us room to be who they are, letting go and relinquishing control, we can begin to build. As a community, we can write our own ending, and we must. The future is happening. We want to keep you informed about the many opportunities that you can get involved in, transformative moments and transforming actions of love. For example, the MVUU choir.
Lovely segue, thank you. As always, we have started choir the day after Labor Day. We, on our first night, had 16 people. In all my years of working for different churches and so forth, I would expect a church this size to have maybe 7 or 8 people in the choir. 16 is amazing, including a few new people, and there were still half a dozen or so people who weren't back from trips, weren't back from vacations, weren't able to join us for whatever reason. So, if you've ever wanted to try choir, now is a perfect time to do it. Because the crowd is big enough, if you're nervous about it, about being heard, about worrying that your voice isn't good enough, 16 people is enough to hide in. And more than you think, even if you're trying to hide, every voice makes a difference. Every voice adds something to the whole. And sure, come on along and sing quietly for the first few times till you find your voice, and then you'll sing out. I would love to see, genuinely love to see, any and all of you. Somebody once asked me in service, what would I do if everybody showed up on Wednesdays? You know what we'd do? We'd sing. That's exactly what we do. I would absolutely love to see any and all of you Wednesday night, 6:30, right here. Please and thank you.
Last Easter in religious education, we asked the children, how would you like to help the community? And the answer was a resounding, our pets. So we have decided to partner again with our friends at the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. We'll be collecting donations through the month of September. You can find a full list of items that they need in the newsletter. There's flyers in the Oasis. You can stop by the RE room. Many of the items can be found around the house, or small items can be purchased, like hot dogs and baby wipes and paper towels. All donations will be collected here at MVUU and will be taken to the Humane Society. In addition to the donations, we will also be helping to pack food for their pet food pantry program in October. We hope you'll consider helping our pets in need by donating and joining us for the service project. Showing up safer. On Saturday, September 20th at 2 p.m., in person and online, we are bringing the workshop Showing Up Safer here to MVUU and our broader community. Led by Ray Strozo, a local activist and artist, this 2-hour workshop will offer insight into the risk assessment necessary to bring more safety with you when you join in those important rallies and protests and parades and marches. This is a part of our ongoing series, Safer Together, funded by a grant by the UUA funding panel. Safer Together connects people of different faiths and backgrounds to learn to bring increased physical, social, and digital safety together. And next is our leadership workshop. Summer.
Good morning, everyone. I had a computer glitch this morning, so I will be winging some of this. Bear with me. So my name is Samar Hadi. I am the chair of the nominating committee. And so who here, please raise your hands if you are familiar with what the nominating committee is. Okay, awesome. For those of you who did not raise your hands, nominating committee, in short, is responsible for nominating to the board, potential members to the board, and also nominating committee and endowment committee. And so in the last few years, we have been discussing and having a paradigm shift on how to do that. So rather than just find someone and plop them into a spot, we've really been trying and making efforts in how do we grow leadership. And not just grow, hey, come be on the board, but also growing in terms of like us as a community. And so we're looking not just to fill a spot, but 3, 4, 5 years down the line, how to get people involved. With that being said, of course, I understand the power of being a lurker. I attended my first meeting, my first congregation at MVU in 2008, and I think I didn't actually get involved until 2012. So don't be like me. And so there's different reasons. I do want to say there are some barriers, right? There's different reasons why people may not necessarily get involved. Across the country, communities are facing a quiet but profound shift. Fewer people are volunteering, fewer people are joining civic groups. So it's not just congregationally, it's in all volunteer groups. And so part of it, one of the reasons for it is this shift in the last 60 to 70 years and where we're really predominating this idea around values around individualism, autonomy, self-reliance. Now, these are perfectly lovely values. I don't want to down them, but they sometimes don't go hand in hand or work very well with community and connection. And then we also had COVID, right? So we did see a massive countrywide spike that when COVID hit, lots of people got overwhelmed, perfectly understandable, and shut down and became more insular. And then 3, life feels overwhelming. I don't know, who here feels overwhelmed? Why would we feel overwhelmed? Oh, come on. I know more of you do. Thank you, back row, thank you. And so because of everything going on. Now, our UU values don't tell us what to believe, and they do encourage us, but they do encourage us to come into community, to be in community. So I really want to bring this out. It's not that people don't care. And yes, life can feel overwhelming, but we are not just a place to attend. We are a community to build. And so every time someone steps forward, signs up for coffee hour, signs up as a volunteer, shows up as a welcomer, shows up when there's a call to help clean the grounds, we are helping to build community. And so I do want to offer that this is part of our shared values. So all in all, to come back to, one of the things that nominating committee is doing is leading into the future. We are encouraging people. It is going to be Saturday, September 27th from 9:30 to 11:30 at MVUU. It is an opportunity to start exploring what it is to be a leader. How is it you want to be a leader? How is it that you would like to show up? So whether or not you've been involved before and are like, I don't want to do this anymore, or you are someone that is interested in, hey, maybe 3-4 years down the line, or maybe next year, please consider attending. We will be doing more events. We will be talking about this more. If you have any questions, there is some more information in the newsletter. Please come to me, Tom Sawyer, and Bowling. We're all members of the nominating committee. Please consider attending. And so, have a wonderful day.
And Finding Hearts is our small group ministry program. We'll have a session this fall with groups of 6 to 10 meeting for just 4 weeks. We're looking for facilitators, easier yet, co-facilitators, who will have training to support them. We're branching out with topics this year. You get to decide on the topic, when and where to meet, and how many people can show up. The deadline for submitting a form of interest is September 15th for groups that will start in late October or November. The deadline for the winter season in 2026 is December 12th. If you have an interest in exploring something within a small group, please contact Alice Hutchison, who's here, she's here, who will be in the Oasis room after service with forms and answering any questions you might have. Her contact information is in our MVUU weekly newsletter. So to release the flame today, I'm going to read Hymn for the Hurting by Amanda Gorman. Everything hurts. Our hearts shattered and strange, minds made muddied and mute. We carry tragedy, terrifying and true, and yet none of it is new. We knew it as home, as horror, as heritage. Even our children cannot be children, cannot be. Everything hurts. It is a hard time to be alive, and even harder to stay that way. We are burdened to live out these days while at the same time blessed to outlive them. This alarm is how we know we must be altered, that we must differ or die, that we must triumph or try. Thus, while hate cannot be terminated, it can be transformed into a love that lets us live. May we not just grieve, but give. May we not just ache, but act. May our signed right to bear arms never blind our sight from shared harm. May we choose our children over chaos. May another innocent never be lost. Maybe everything hurts, our hearts shadowed and strange, but only when everything hurts may everything change.